Hello and a very warm welcome to episode 38 of the Sussex by the City podcast, a podcast about all things Hastings United. I'm your host Chris Laverick, and on today's show I have the very great pleasure of the mighty youth centre-half Gary Elphick. We talk the ups and downs of being a footballer, his career, and how much he's loving his time right now here at Hastings. Also on the show we have our very own Motty, RY SEGAL, joining us for his regular exclusive pre- and post-match takes from women's team Supremo, Billy Wood. After an injury hit, Hastings travelled to Ashford. And lastly, we have a petrol crisis hit roundtable. But me and Robbie, I always give the ref a break. Clifford, do the honours, despite all the no-shows. Enjoy, Hastings fans. And now, over to Gary Elphick.
Hello, Gary.
Chris, how you doing, mate?
Oh, man. Look, what is that coming over the hill? It is Gary Elphick. It's Gary Elphick. How are you, fella? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. All good. All good. Yeah, all good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, no, very good. Very good, sir. We are joined by the wonderful Gary Elphick, former Brighton, Eastbourne Borough, St Albans, Aldershot Town, Havant and Waterlooville, Eastleigh, Tonbridge Angels, Lewis, Worthing and Burgess Hill player.
Yeah, amazing. I'm still alive after that club.
Yeah.
Amount of clubs, isn't it? Crikey. Yeah.
Put a few miles in there. What was it, first of all, start cracking off with your beginning of your career?
Yeah.
What was it like going through that Brighton system? And,
incredible. Very good. We was backs to the walls as a club at that time with Dean. Hardly had any facilities really. And considering we had, I think it was a couple of promotions when I was at the club going sort of back and forth from League One to the Championship. An incredible achievement. But what it was all about the dressing room. It was proper old school guys that were just devoted themselves to their career. None of them really that special, but just real hard grafters. And straight away, you was brought up on great work ethic and camaraderie. And no, it was a joy to be involved with. And you couldn't have had a better education going into football, basically.
Yeah, because you were there, and was it around the same time as your brother?
Yeah, so Tommy's a couple of years younger than me. I managed to just start. I think I was on the bench sort of 20 odd times for Brighton in the Champ, and then Tommy hadn't really. Him and Joel Lynch went to Bognor Regis on loan, and they were sort of like in the playoffs, and they were two sort of 17-year-olds playing at centre half. So I knew they were coming up through the system as well, but hopefully, I think I helped him settle in, and he sort of saw what was needed just to get a pro contract, and he's gone and had a fantastic career.
Can you remember your debut, your league debut for the Seagulls?
Yeah, it was. It was dreadful, to be honest with you, Chris.
I'm sorry, mate. Because I didn't know it, so I'll just ask you.
Yeah,
what happened?
I got. Sorry. For my debut, I come on as a striker in the last 10 minutes against Sheffield United.
Oh, okay.
And then for my full playing debut from the start, I played against Reading. Unfortunately, I was sent off after 65 minutes. So I had 2 yellow cards. And then Was it harsh? Yeah, I got booked within. It must have been, and this is no word of a lie, within 5 seconds of kickoff. I had a tussle with Kevin Doyle, shoulder to shoulder, and believe it or not, the ref was from St Albans, and he booked me on 5 seconds in my debut. And then I'll be honest with you, I knew I was on a tightrope because they still hold the record now, Reading, for the amount of championship points ever received on promotion. So I knew, straight away I was up against it, and never played again. Bit depressed after that, and it could have, it was bad. Yeah, really bad, to be honest with you. But it also makes a man out of you when you come through adversity like that, and you're a more. I always think you're a more rounded human being when you've gone through stuff like that. So you're coming out the other side. You've done well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember because I used to go up to the With Dean. Like I used to work at Eastbourne Hospital, and we'd take people up to the With Dean all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a place that was. But I mean, what were the facilities like there? Because I mean, it was what it was.
Yeah, no, it was proper tin pot. It was. You was getting changed in porter cabins that were erected newly every season, just so you could play going around an athletics track. But also, I do think, looking back on it, that's why we had the success we did, because I remember we had Wolves coming down with Paul Ince, Jolyon Lescott, and people like that. And I remember my brother beating Man City there in the Carabao Cup. And it was just not a lot of teams like coming down there. Sort of thing. No. And especially, as I say, with our, the grittiness of the squad we had, we always thought we could be a game for anyone, actually. It sort of worked to our advantage.
Yeah. I mean, look, funny enough, the last time I went to the Withdean, old Dishy Des and Alan Kirbishley were there. As I was going through the turnstile, I'm like, hang on, what's getting this? All the top people. But tons of scouts were there at the time. I mean, I don't know. Anyway. Yeah,
well, I think it would, because to be honest, you look, the youth system, the amount of players it churned out at that time, I could understand why we had so many good youngsters coming through, and a lot of them went on and done the business, and you can see why there were a lot of scouts there having a look at players.
Obviously, Dishy Des wasn't a scout; he was just Dishy Des. But who was the other fella? There was Kirbishley. Who's the other fella that was a Charlton manager?
They used to have he weren't his big assistant. He had an assistant who used to be a goalkeeper, Marvin Day.
I remember Marvin Day used to be the Villa goalie.
Yeah, he used to knock around with him quite a bit and go to all the games with Kerb. So, I used to see him quite a bit, actually, yeah.
Yeah, going off topic there, why do you think Kirbishley never went back into... Because he didn't really go back into management, did he?
Strange, isn't it? Yeah. It is strange. It's just it's football, isn't it? As soon as you are a piece of meat, you can be forgotten within weeks in football, and it's the only sport like it. It's strange.
Peculiar one. Oh, sorry, mate. Anyway, you're not a piece of meat, Gary. No. It's out of it, mate. I'm sure you'd give a slap to anyone that said you were a piece of meat. But I mean, talking about all the ex-players and that, I mean, any of that from that Brighton lot that you keep in contact with?
Who would I keep in touch with? To be honest with you, like Dean Hammond, I would sort of speak to him a few times a year. I used to be very pally with Adam Alab when we was growing up through the youth system, because we went to the same school, so we was close buddies at the time. Obviously, my brother I speak to every day. There's Adam Inchwood. I was originally signed for him down at Worthing. And if I ever saw Inch, I'd have a chat with Inch. There's a few. I wouldn't say I'm absolutely like bosom buddies with any of them, but I could always have a chat with any of them. Really, all good guys.
So you left Brighton. You were looking for regular first team football. You went on loan, Eastbourne Borough, Aldershot, and you eventually ended up at St Albans. And you went straight on to becoming a player of the season. You were voted player of the season. Yeah, I mean they were in the National League. Were they National League? Yeah,
we so when I got released from Brighton, I originally went. I think it's for 18 odd games at St Albans when I was at Brighton as like a work experience loan, and we were bottom of the league. We were 10 points adrift. We ended up getting on the verge of the playoffs, and the manager there was a guy called Colin Lippiat, who's unfortunately not around anymore. But he was like an angel sent from above for me, because I was on the floor, and this guy had so much belief in me, got me playing again. And then we got promoted from the Conference South in my first season there. And then we went and played in the Conference National, and we would have actually stayed up that year, but Colin fell very ill with diabetes, and he actually stopped managing us in the conference, and our form took a real blip. But when I look back on it, he was incredible. He always put an arm around me and sort of said, like, you'll always be my number 5 at the time. And it was just incredible to have that support at that difficult time, and he'll forever will always be sort of. I'll be thankful for what he done for me. Yeah, he was a good guy.
It's amazing, those, isn't it? Those characters, isn't it, that can you can either bring you down or they bring you up, don't they? I mean,
it's like in any walk of life. I just think you need the rub of the green, a bit of luck, and someone to believe in you. And that's hopefully what I try to do that with the Hastings boys. Especially the younger lads. Try and direct them the right way, because I know when I was that age, you're very you're very uptight. You're worried about what people are saying or thinking, and it's paranoia sometimes. You worry, especially in football as well. As I say, it can be a cruel sport, and I think you can never have too many good guys in football. Definitely.
Well, I've from everyone that I've ever spoke to on this podcast, they've always said the best things about you. They've also said like they can't say it. They can't say the things. You know, that your team talks and all that. That you know, I do like to get pumped up and amongst it. But then I suppose off the pitch, I want to be sort of in the back. I don't really want bragging rights or anything like that, especially at my age. I'm more than happy for other people to sort of lead the bandwagon. But when it comes into the four walls of a dressing room and a pitch, then it's just my nature. I'm fully pumped. So yeah. Here we go. You then moved on to Havant and Waterlooville.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just when I was checking this, it was obviously they went on that cup run, didn't they? When they went to Liverpool, but you unfortunately were cup tied.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest regrets ever. I started the season at St Albans, but to be honest with you, I was travelling from Brighton, and the travelling was getting horrendous, and I was getting a few sort of hamstring niggles at the time. So I thought I've got to try and get a little bit more local. Went to Havant, played every league game, but unfortunately I played for St Albans in the FA Cup, and that ruled me out. But it was incredible to be around. And actually, the following year, we ended up being on ITV. We played Brentford. We beat Crawley on the way, and that sort of made up for it a little bit. Not as huge as playing Liverpool, because I remember we went 2-1 up, and I was in the dugout, and they brought Gerrard and Carragher on. They was worried, over Waterlooville, which when you look, it's unheard of, And at that time as well, the FA Cup, not many big teams were playing weakened sides then. They sort of used to go for it a little bit. So, they had some big stars playing, Alonso, Crouch and people like that. And to be 2-1 up at Anfield, it was just pinch yourself. You couldn't believe it.
Yeah. That is the one shame about the FA Cup. I mean, it's a joy at the obviously our non-league level, the run up to the bigger games. But you see some of these top sides, they don't put a side out, do they? And it's a real shame for someone that's older. I remember when people put out proper teams. So
usually, I remember being young and the FA Cup, someone would come round. It used to be a massive day, and I don't know. Sometimes I always think maybe if they put like a Champions League qualification on it,
absolutely,
that might turn the screw a little bit. But I'm not part of the FA, so I'll give that one a miss, Chris. Yeah.
From there, it was right. From there, it was Eastbourne, Eastleigh, Tunbridge, and Lewis. What was the level of football like at that time?
What I would say is actually it was really transitional, and that's a big word for me, but. Yeah, it actually went from, I remember when I was 18 to 25, something like that, you used to get a big number 9 and the elbows would be out, bang, straight across the face, and they'd look at you and think, well, you're either going to stand up and be a man or I'm going to bully you for 90 minutes. And that's when I got to sort of 26, 27, you didn't have the big target man up front anymore. You started getting teams playing out from the back a little bit, and 2 whippets up front that want to run you behind all the time. So, I've seen a massive change in football from when I first started out to now. It's crazy.
So you mean like big lumps like Pete Heritage? Lumps
yeah. Well, I remember like Newport away. I think. I broke my nose twice in one game against a striker called Julian Alsop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was like 6'6", and I remember at one point at Newport they've got a shot put net behind the goal, and I think I was in that trying to win an header against him. But do you know what? I actually really miss them days of football. I love it now. Even if the ball goes in the air, I'll go 100 miles an hour to try and win it. But I do miss having that physical tussle because it's definitely gone out of the game a lot.
Oh yes, I always remember because I was originally I was born right near QPR, so West London used to go QPR. So in the late 80s, I used to go watch QPR home and away, and we went up to Man U. Mark Hughes was the forward, right? He broke Alan McDonald's nose, right, and got away with it, the git, right, and then he broke Mark Falco's nose, and you think the size of that nose, it's like my one.
Yeah.
How have you done that as well? And he got away with it, the cheeky Welsh git. But
No,
top forward he was. But
yeah, he was. Yeah, strong as an ox. Yeah.
so obviously, I bet you've been to some remote grounds because I mean, I've been to Aldershot, and that is that's a bit desolate. That is, as I remember it anyway. It was raining.
No, I was staying up there for a few months, and obviously, I just got released from Brighton. It was quite a depressing time, but it's all army barracks up there. And to be fair, the support was frightening. I remember behind in the big stand behind the goal there, they would really get behind you. And actually, when I look back on it now, it was a little bit of a regret how it went at Aldershot. I didn't play my best football just because I wanted the ground to suck me up. Really, I didn't even want to be on a football pitch, but proud to have played for them. And it's a big club. But yeah, played at Luton away in the conference and clubs like that, which are all massive games. I remember being at Eastbourne Borough part time when we had a police escort up there. You know, you go from doing a bit of plumbing on the Friday to having a police escort to a Luton game. You know, it's a crazy work.
I remember I used to bunk in there, Luton, when because they had a plastic. I don't know. How old are you, Gary?
No, I remember. It's funny because my son plays alongside Steve. You know, Steve Foster, the centre half.
Oh, blimey, yeah, Jesus, the old Ed band.
Yeah, he's got two twins now who are in my boys' team, and we talk, and he was talking actually, funnily enough, about the plastic pitch at Luton. So yeah,
because we there was a stadium ban. You know, like no, it was home fans only. So we bunked in as QPR fans. It's funny, like half the ground jumped up, but yeah, it is a bit tasty at Luton.
Yeah. So no, it's been a few good grounds, Wrexham and teams like that. So no, it's been all right. I've played some nice.
Yeah. So I mean, what is your what's your favourite, and what's your most like you've always had a shocker at?
Cool. Favourite grounds. The favourite ground would be. I used to like playing at Cambridge United. That was a good ground.
All right.
They used to get a bit rowdy there, especially around Christmas time at St Albans, because like local fixture. That was good.
Yeah.
To be fair, Luton, Wrexham, they were all lovely grounds. And then probably Medeski would be that still sends shudders down my spine, unfortunately. Yeah. And the pilot field's got to be the best one, though.
Oh yeah. Don't forget that, mate.
So yeah.
Oh, talking of the pilot field, but just quickly, Wayne asked me to ask you. You need to get your brother over to the pilot field, all right? That's what he says.
Yeah, he'll come. He's helped me manage the Bournemouth under-23s now, so he's gone down there. But to be honest with you, I said to Tommy, he might want to have a little look because we've got some lovely youngsters coming through at the moment.
Absolutely.
And I think he's such a good grounding for any youngster coming through at Hastings with when they're full time. And with the management we've got, I think they've just got the balance lovely at the moment to bring youngsters through. So hopefully it's an exciting sort of next 10 years for Hastings. I really see it taking off.
Right, so we're going to Worthing now, right? At Worthing, while playing, you started managing, right? So how did that come about?
So I was 29 at the time, but I was on holiday. I had a phone call from Adam Inchwood to say, come down to Worthing, captain the team, try and get a bit of enjoyment back. So I think I had a terrible couple of years. I didn't really get on well at Tonbridge Angels and Lewis. So I had a bad wrist injury. It kept me out for half the season. And it was a little bit political at Lewis with what was going on. So I wanted a clean start. Went to Worthing, and then within 2 weeks of signing for him, Adam got a job at Brighton. Yeah, he left the club, and the chairman rang me up, and the vice chairman, and said, "Could you manage it?" Which, at the time, I was always a bit worried because I was only 29. So I literally, really thinking I'm coming to sort of the pinnacle of my career, and it's a young, I run a plumbing company. I'd had my first son then, and it was a lot to take on, but incredible experience. We got promoted in the first year via the playoffs. Then we had another good season the following year in the Rhine Prem, and then I ended up because I was doing it as a joint manager role with a guy called John Meaney. But the joint manager doesn't really work, and we ended up going separate ways. I stayed at Worthing, he departed. But we talking about luck again and hitting the things at the right time. we had to ground share with Bognor for the first 6 games because our home pitch it was illegal, basically, the 3G. And I bought a couple of players in from London because we had lost some real good players to transfer fees. And unfortunately, we lost 6 in a row. And that was it. And you go from 29-year-old getting you promoted to first year and to sort of 31, 32, thinking, no, this ain't going too well. And almost looking at retiring from football really after that. You know,
really? Right.
Yeah.
Realise that.
Yeah, it took its toll on me really because, and Aggie, I tell you, when you speak to him, to even manage at this level now, it's a full-time job. And I was completely burnt out because I was still trying to play because we were struggling on the pitch. And basically, sometimes less is more. You try too hard, and then you're
spinning too many plates. Too many plates,
yeah. So it was a great experience. One that I'll have always forever fond memories of. And obviously, you met Lloyd Dawes, Popey there.
Well, that's what I was going to say. How did you control them in the dressing room then? Gary,
of course. Yeah, to be honest, you could tell both of them, and that's why I've recommended them to Aggie. Both of them, they had frightening ability, and I'm almost, I suppose, even in the car, I'm a father figure a little bit to them both, trying to keep them on the straight and narrow and teach them about life and that. Bit more difficult with Dawsey than Popey, but they're fantastic, and I know also what they had in the dressing room as well. They're there to fight your corner, and hopefully, I think if Dawsey can stay fit, he's going to be frightening. And Popey, what I was saying about missing a ruck with a striker, that when I look at Popey and I know I've got to clip a ball into a channel and that, I know he's going to be running every day of the week and he's going to be smashing into centre halves, and he's just a throwback. I love him.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, no, top man. He's a top man. So how is Lloyd? Is he got a knock again? He looked like he had a knock.
I'll be no. So he was cramping up, and then he felt. I suppose he gets a little bit paranoid, bless him, about these injuries because he's had a couple of bad years. But I've spoke to him yesterday, and it sounds like it was just cramp that went up into his hamstring. So he should. I would think he'd be training Wednesday again, and then going and building on that. But I think the target for Lloyd now is if he can sort of hit 5, then 10 games in a row. He'll definitely be the best attacking player you've seen in the league by a long shot.
Yeah, no, there was little bits of it where when he come on second half against Ramsgate, that intent and just he's so unpredictable. Do you know what I mean? They don't know what he's going to do. The defenders don't know what he's going to do, and he's just running at them.
At any level, if you've got a player that can glide past players like he does, you can play any shape you want. But they're the sort of players that you're looking for to get your goals and assists. And he's special. Like, I remember that there was a ball he plucked out the sky on Saturday, and I'm looking at him just thinking, how has he done that? I would have wrapped my leg around my neck and broke my neck. But he's class. He is a class act, definitely.
Right, we're getting back to you, mate. Getting back to you. So we already know why you left Worthing. So you went to Burgess Hill. Do you want to talk anything about your time at Burgess Hill? Should we?
Burgess Hill was. It was a strange one, to be honest with you. It was a little bit of an old pals act where I knew Ian Chapman from when he coached my brother back in the day at Brighton and that. And he's a great guy. He's a solid guy. And unfortunately, just football goes in cycles sometimes. And it was one of the worst dressing rooms I've ever been in for character, for who wants to battle with you and that. And unfortunately, we had too many bad eggs in the dressing room, and things off the pitch weren't going great at Burgess Hill either. It's even now when you look at them, I respect them because they're run correctly. They'll never be in debt or anything like that. But it just needs a little bit of a spark, and hopefully Jay Lovett will bring that in time there. But it needed a clean sweep, and because Chap was what he done there. It was incredible to get him to Ryman Premier, and that should never be overlooked either. But it was just it's just timing sometimes in football, and unfortunately, it was the right manager, probably the right club at that time for me. But unfortunately, it was a terrible dressing room, and It's weird actually. I found that a lot whenever I've played close to home in Brighton. We're very flaky with the players down this way, very fluffy, and that's what I love about Hastings. Because for
I was going to say,
reason,
Aggie ain't fluffy, is he? Don't tell me that. With him and Heritage and that, and Brownie and that.
Just like training there the first few weeks and that, and as I said earlier on, the balance is there. They want to produce footballers, but they want to produce human beings as well that proper roll your sleeves up and get behind you. And that's what I like about Hastings. When the war cry goes out, they're 110% behind you to follow you in the trenches, and that's something that gives me the biggest buzz ever. If you've got a group of 11 men coming out on the pitch, all going in the same direction, that's the best feeling in the world. And that's one, as I get towards the end of my career, that's going to be the biggest thing I'll miss. It'll be gutting that day when I've got to hang up the boots, because that's the feeling that gives me the most joy.
You ain't done yet, are you?
Well,
come on. We've got promotion to get first, mate. That's
my key. That's tunnel vision on that with Hastings, because I just hope all the hard work pays off. It will. Hard work does pay off, and it will. I'm sure it will.
Well, yeah. Just getting back to the beginnings of Hastings. So, did you know Aggie before you come?
So, yeah, Aggie tried to sign me when I got released. When I walked from Worthing, I had a conversation with Aggie. At the time I had Horsham, Aggie at Hastings, and I had Burgess Hill. And Burgess Hill was. The reason why I went there was because Chaplin said to me eventually he might move upstairs to be in the board of directors, and that I would probably be given the manager's job there, which I got overlooked completely, even when it come up for grabs. But and now when I look back, I wasn't ready anyway. Things happen for a reason, and that's one thing I've loved about Hastings, is that every time I train, I learn off the best. Who's Aggie? He's the best non-league manager I've worked with.
English Jose, mate. In my eyes, mate, English Jose.
Yeah, he is. He's he's a deep thinker in that, and every day's an education walking into Hastings, and that's one thing I get a big buzz about as well. So it's been a blessing for me to walk in at Hastings, and I'll tell you what now as well, think about it, if I'd never played for this club as well, I would have been absolutely gutted, because now after playing for Hastings and that, I do realise what a massive club it is in non-league, and I've loved every minute of it. I'm not going to lie, and like the record, I've had since I've been down here as well. I think I've only been defeated in 4 games out of almost 60, which it's unheard of, really. I'm really lucky to have done that, and to do it with some great fellas as well.
Yeah, well, just getting back there, how did he sell the club to you?
He sort of said, "This is what we're looking to do," blah blah, on a text message. Which, to be honest with you, you can't gather much information. And I said, "This, we'll meet for a coffee."
Yeah.
And he said, "Right, brilliant." And him and Brownie come down, and within 10 minutes, I knew this is the club for me. I just knew I was talking to educated people about the game that devote a lot of their time to it, got a vision, got a direction about where they want to take the club. And that, to be honest, that's what I wanted. And that was the only way I was going to get back playing, because I was just sick and tired of playing not for people, but I needed something that really just tickled my taste buds a little bit and got me to open my eyes to actually, this is another way you can go with football, and this is how we do it here. And that's what Aggie and Brownie done for me. And I knew within sort of minutes that I'll definitely be signing for Hastings.
All right, and so this season, Gary, right?
Yeah.
What's happening? What's happening, mate? Where are we finishing?
We're top.
We're top.
Yeah, we're top.
Top man.
It's every year I've seen a different sort of style at Hastings. So when I first come, we were still very youthful, a little bit naive. And then the second season I had was purely possession-based. Could actually get a little bit tedious, actually, for especially our opponents, because they were just chasing the ball.
Yeah.
But we produced some great youngsters through it. But this year, I just think that it's the first year where we've got individuals that we could be playing poorly, but we could turn a game on their head because we got the individuals to cause real damage. A bit like Burgess Hill away, where it was 50-50 for a long time, and then Dave Martin, Hassler, Popey, they link, and within 3 seconds they're 2-0 down. And that's the first time I've had that feeling with this Hastings team that we can do stuff like that.
Or a certain centre half pops a few goals in as well.
Well, it helps.
Hey.
I thank their number 8 for that. It was brilliant.
That didn't go well, did it? No.
It was, and I was close to coming off. Actually, I was in. I've got tendonitis of my my Achilles at the moment, so first 10-15 minutes I'm playing in a lot of agony. But once it gets going, I said to Aggie, you might want to get me off here because I was in absolute pain. But as soon as the number 8. Put that into my face. Ags knew he it's the young.
Hello, mate.
You're right. Yeah, so he knew to keep me on. And thankfully it all worked out. But that's what I say about timing and being at the right place at the right time with certain clubs. Like it's just never in my life would I've been able to do it at any other team other than Hastings. It seems like to be 2-1 down within 5 minutes and then come up and score the double is. It's just Hastings seems a very lucky club for me for some reason. So.
Long may that continue. Well, listen, thanks for this. Oh, hello. Right. Well, thanks for this, Gary.
No problem.
You're just, is there any message you want to give out to the Hastings fans?
Well, it's just more of the same, really. It's I play on fear a little bit. I'm always worried. I always play a bit of nerves in my belly because I don't want to underperform. And I'll put in 110 and I just want to get the job done, get us over the line, and hopefully they stay stuck behind us because when they're behind us, especially at home, it's serious. Yeah, serious.
Well, thank you very much for this, Gary, and you take it easy, all right, fella?
Top man, been good talking to you, Chris.
It's time for that 2-man power trip again. It's RY SEGAL talking to U's women's boss, Billy Wood.
So it is pre-match before the U's League match away at Ashford United, and as usual I am here with Billy Wood. So Billy, Ashford second in the table. Is it a big clash for the end of the season already, do you think?
It's a big clash. Goal remains the same, still got to win the game of football. They don't change at all. I think we know what the challenge is today. I'm looking forward to Kira getting her first start. New signing from Canterbury City. In place of Blair. We'll see how she gets on today. I think for me, it's just about treating it like we treat everything else. Like we want to win games of football. It's undeniable if we win games of football that we'll finish top of the league. We just got to carry on going, right? And I think today is another big test for us. And I'd rather that than boring 10-0 wins, really.
Well, you stole my question about Kira by talking about her there. So, it might be a trivial question, but the turf, to those listening, we're playing on AstroTurf today, and in comparison to playing on what was a rock-hard surface last week, do you think that affects your preparations or affects how the players set up today?
It's a big pitch. I think they probably think, we play on 3G, we're a bit more used to it, but I think from our end, the big advantage now today is that it's a big pitch. And we know that a big pitch, we love a big pitch. So let's not worry about the surface. Let's just worry about keeping the ball and doing our thing and making sure that we do everything we can to win the game.
Some familiar faces in the Ashford lineup. Has there been a case of just making sure the players remain focused and don't let any friendships get in the way of a victory today?
Not really. I think difference from this team to the team we had, the majority of the team we had last year, I should say, is the professionalism. These girls are footballers. These girls are players that want to get us up and out of the London South East League. They don't care about friendships. All they care about right now is 3 points. If they cared about friendships, then they wouldn't be in our squad. It's as simple as that. They're here to win. We can smile and say hello at the end, but for 90 minutes, it's 3 points for us or back to the drawing board. And as you know, Ryan, I'm aggressively optimistic person. So I look at today's game and go, right, let's give them a game.
Thank you very much, Billy Wood. It is post-match after Hastings United women's 1-1 draw away at Ashford, and of course I'm here with Billy Wood to discuss it. So Billy, bear in mind you were missing your first 2 choice goalkeepers and Sian Heather. How do you think the team coped today and how proud of them are you?
I think we did really well in the sense that
we were missing some key players today. Doesn't help when you're missing both your keepers and have to draft someone in, Friday to play on the Sunday. And thank you to Kira for doing that job for us. So she's in for one game, did well. Leaves the club without losing a game of football, so she did fantastic. So thank you again to her. But to the others, really, we just had to dig in a little bit. We have a way of playing that we couldn't really do today with the players missing. You mentioned Sean obviously not being well, which killed us from the start. Then a couple of minutes in, Mia gets injured as well, and everything changes really. You lose one of your strikers, and then you send a midfielder who kind of runs the game for you, and then you look at it and go, right, that's the whole spine of the team pretty much lost in a space of 7 days. To get a point, great. Don't get me wrong, I think we were hanging on at the end. But whilst we were hanging on, and I wanted us to obviously get to that final whistle with our undefeated streak still intact. If you look away how they felt after that game, they were really, really, really happy with the point against us. So I think that just says a lot about Hastings United, really.
You can talk about what it says about Hastings United. What do you think that result means to the players, the confidence boost that will give, that although they're missing arguably one of the best players, missing first choice goalkeepers, what do you think that's going to do to squad morale to show that despite that, they're able to get good results?
I think Ashford actually physically are probably one of the best teams in the league. For us to get a point there, missing the players that are missing was great. So, over the moon with that. And I think the squad will be too.
And so final question. So it is FA Cup weekend next weekend. Yeah. So does your mentality change going into a league game or going into a cup game?
No, not at all. You go to win. We went there to win today. We were caught on a break, went 1-0 down, pulled it back to 1-0. And we still tried to go and win that game. And like we will again next weekend. We'll go away to Islington Borough. It'll be something different. And we'll go and look to win that game and try and progress further in this FA Cup. I think we could go quite far in it as long as the draw falls right in the third qualifying round. There's no reason why we can't be in the first round proper, which would be fantastic for the club.
Thank you very much, Billy Wood.
And now over to the fan roundtable. Big thanks to Robbie, who, unlike Ashford, didn't bottle it, for making it happen.
I'm joined by Robbie. No petrol has affected Robbie. All the other lightweights haven't made it. Sir Robbie has made it through all the petrol pumps, and he's made it. Thank you for coming along, Sir Robbie.
Yeah, it's no problem at all. So I'm not like Ashford George, I'm committed.
First of all, I'd like to say another thank you for Robbie. The Hastings Independent contacted me, and Robbie has helped with an article that will be coming out this week. Towards the end of this week. So there's got a massive input from Robbie, and Hugh, who's wrote that, wanted to give Robbie a good shout out there because obviously, Robbie's going places. Right.
It was just a love letter to Jack Dixon in the end. They ended up praising Jack Dixon more than anything. So that's what that was.
Yeah, well, you've got some competition with John Wells for love affairs with Jack Dixon. First of all, let's start. Right, we won't have too much here because of unfortunately our game tonight being curtailed. But
I should be a beer right now at the football. It's outrageous.
I know, terrible. But so let's talk about a wonderful FA Vars win, 3-0 against the might of AFC Dunstable. Where do we start with it? I mean, do we talk sending off first, or is there any? Where do you want to go with it first, Robbie?
Well, to be honest, I think the first half there's not really much to talk about until the red card. It was quite a classic sunny days game where they came to take us to penalties pretty much, so they didn't threat. We struggled to break them down. We had a couple of half chances, a couple of good half saves. I think Bill Quinn put it best in his match report when he said a barnstorming run for Ollie Black, where he suddenly became Maradona and took about 20 players, only to fall the final hurdle of the finish.
Would that have been a goal?
We would have been talking about it for years.
Oh.
But yeah, and so before that, it's quite done. The most entertaining thing before that was probably their keeper was actually getting involved in the banter and joining us some of our chants. We actually quite liked him. He was a bit thrown too, all cracking. And then about 40 minutes in, give or take that mark, long ball over, Martin chases it, can't reach it, keeper safely collects it. You want one of those classic, defender, strikers runs into the keeper, knocks him. Usually they both run off, game continues. For some reason, I found out a reason after the game, the keeper had a couple of other things on his mind. personal life. That's beside the point. He took exception to that, so he grabbed Martin by the scruff of his shirt around his neck area. Obviously, little bit of handbags. Didn't go on for too long. Obviously, the Cole Warren were off straight away.
Not all the Cole Warren, mate. You sending people off for that. Well, yeah.
This is where it gets to. Like, it was more joke and expectation. Like,
yeah.
And obviously, Martin gets booked for it. Keeper gets sent off, and it's one of these. But by the letter of the law, technically the referee is correct. But technically, he has raised his hand in aggressive manner. It's a red card by letter of the law. But I would disagree with it. I thought what it should have been was, all right, bro, just calm down, get on the game, will you? That's what if I was a ref, I would have done that.
Yeah, again, you did say that at the time, though, Robbie, did you?
No, I did actually.
What? Are you sure?
And after the record, I was going,
after the red
and then after he said, "Well, cheerio." Afterwards, I went, "I want to send him off for
that." I know, I remember that bit, but I don't remember the before. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I was leaving the off. You got to send him, ref. He's got to go. And then Dunstable tried to sneakily play with 11 players, which a ref.
Yeah, what was that about? That was.
I don't think it was deliberate. I think they were generally just so confused on which outfield player from the bench to put on, they forgot to take one off. And they thought, "You're the biggest, you go and go." And he immediately bit, and we love that from the fans. And then no one told anyone who was coming off. They were just sitting around aimlessly. And thankfully, the liner was like, "Ref, you make sure one of them go." So yeah.
Well, yeah, they brought on a sort of like a slightly chubby version of Darren Bent on, didn't they?
He would. He was a big chap.
He was massive, bloody hell. I mean, I did feel sorry.
He can't take the banter though. He can't take the banter.
He wasn't
immediately. He had a bite at someone in the crowd. I was like, "Here we go."
Well, it's Joe in the crowd doing his stuff, his mental disintegration techniques.
It works.
It certainly did. I mean, I personally, I'm going to be all boring now. I thought the sending off were in the game.
I can see where you're coming from, John. Yeah, because after that, we knew we were going to win because he tried his hardest at the player, but he's not a goalkeeper. So, any decent shot were going in. Worst case scenario went to penalty. We're definitely winning penalties. And with 10 men and how they were playing, they weren't going to break us down. So pretty much, okay, we'd have to really fuck this up to lose this. Give him credit. Aggie didn't let us slip. We both dominated, controlled, and didn't overexert ourselves because we were expecting to play tonight.
Yeah. So
Aggie had that in mind. That's why he took Martin Dawes off not long into the second half after the game was settled. But so the second half itself, as you say, again, I thought it was a bit of a soft penalty. I actually didn't. I appealed for it, of course, because you know me, I appeal for everything, and the ref always wrong to give it. I appealed for a penalty jokingly, and the ref gave it. I even said, "Joy, I don't know that was a penalty." I thought it was one of those shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, I didn't see it, to be honest. So
I reckon we swayed the ref because obviously the raw.
He did lose it a little bit, didn't he? The ref.
He did, and I reckon the whole Steve Smith man went up, and obviously we make quite a bit of noise. You see, that's all 50-50. The crowd suddenly that makes it 60-40, and suddenly, actually, probably worse than that angle. I get that penalty, and then AOC Dunstable lost their heads. The fact that they ended with 10 men was surprising because I thought one of them was about to clock the line at one point.
And that's a long old trip home as well.
It is, yeah.
Bless them.
They won't even make it. They're lack of fuel. They're stuck in Ashford right now.
I mean, I'm just trying to think about the other goals.
The first one was a Popey penalty. He just showed his striking house. He had to wait a while. Fair play. Had to wait a while. They're always difficult, but showed his house. So the keeper rolled it in. What was the second one? The second one was great work from Kenny because obviously him not being a goalkeeper just robbed him. Instead of Popey. Nice, easy too. And the third one's actually a lovely counter attack.
Yeah.
Bates, young Jack. Is it Jack Bates? Yeah.
Yeah, that was that his first game?
I'm pretty sure I've seen him. I've definitely seen him play for youth sides a few times. I'm pretty sure I've seen the senior time as well. They're mixing because they go to quite youth games as well. Occasionally do mix in, but I'm pretty sure I've seen the senior team before. But at least in pre-season friendly, he looked good. There was great bit of counter attack, great bit of pace, and unselfishly gave it to Hasler, who. We love Haz. He's always become a fan favourite. Joint top goal scorer and lovely finish to make it 3.
Yeah, no. Beautiful stuff. Nice, comfy victory. No obvious injuries. Obviously leading into what should have been the Ashford game, which obviously hasn't happened. We'll talk about that in a second. But, you can't argue with that. Right, so we got the Sunday game. Now, I know you probably didn't go to the Ashford game.
No, mainly didn't really go, unfortunately. So I think a bit of a trip, and I was expecting with another game Tuesday and a big trip this weekend. I was thinking, I won't have much time to myself this week. I'll just take Sunday to myself. No, I'll tell you what, I ended up playing cricket at the end. I actually ended up playing cricket, so even I wanted to... no, that's all right, I didn't go. I ended up playing cricket in the end. Do you remember now? Yep.
Yeah. Has the drunken haze gone now?
Yeah, the drunken haze is gone. Well, I did drink a lot of beer while playing that game. It's a great sport. You can drink beer while playing. Fantastic.
I know, it's awesome. It's awesome. Let's go back to the women's game in a second. So you cricket, what, how many did you take and how many runs did you score?
I batted 5. I got a glorious 1 of 4. And now I bowled 1 over for 12.
12? Oh.
Yeah. Flat deck.
Where's that economy? Where's that economy
rate? Flat
rate?
deck. I was just playing the fielders. And by that point, I was many beers in. When I came out to bowl 1 over, I was many beers in.
No one's bending down to get the ball there. All.
I was trying to have a few drinking, to be fair. I had a bit of an alky. I was like, I'll have a few.
Yeah.
No one else was joining me? No, more for me.
Well, so going back to the actual women's game, it was from what I've heard, and I've just got the bits from Ryan about for the podcast, the women's game, his pre and post match with Billy, and it looked like we were carrying quite a lot of injuries. I don't think we had a fit goalkeeper.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, pretty much a B string team made illness and injury, playing on a plastic pitch. What I have seen though is Rebecca Bell's goal.
Oh,
lovely
suits
goal.
You, sir. Suits you. What a little crack that was.
It was a great goal.
Let it go onto her left, volleyed into the.
Lovely. It would have been worth going just to see that goal. To be fair, lovely goal.
Nice goal. Well, so a tough draw. So we managed to get to Ashford, even though we were a second string team. But as we go on to tonight's game, Ashford didn't manage to get to us because they decided they're going to call their game off.
2 days before the actual day, sort of thing. It's called off on Sunday. We don't know how the fuel crisis it's improved a little bit today. Again, I don't drive, so I don't really know, to be honest. But yeah, no, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous early decision, but it's typical. They're running scared. They probably got a couple of knocks. We won 6 on a bounce. They don't want to play us right now. They're terrified. Simple as. They knew we were going to dick them. We would have smashed 4 or 5 past them easy. But hey ho, I say look at the positives. All right, didn't get to play tonight. However, that means like people like Doherty just back from injury, another night off. He can rest with Chipham. Massive game on the weekend. Wardle, he's due back quite soon. Again, he can maybe he can do a bit of match fitness, but he can back up the training. Maybe he might feature.
Yeah, he looked like he was in good spirits. We saw him in the club shop, the clubhouse, didn't we? And
yeah, I've pretty much seen him every game since he's been injured, bar when he was on holiday, which is great to see him just like that. We saw Lamray in the stands as well. It's great to see when players aren't playing, they're around the team, come to them play around the squad.
Yeah.
That was always good to see. So yeah, and Martin, he going off early. Obviously, he's 36, so he may need a few. Elphick, another older one. Obviously, may need another day off.
Well, I mean, that's another thing that I think that maybe another thing that Aggie's really brought into this club, the feeling of family. Because like when I was chatting with Jake Elliott a couple of weeks ago, I think it was about a couple of weeks ago now, even he said, when I've got some time, I'm going to come down. I'm going to come down. I want to get, that he's still close with a lot of the players here. And, it's just that environment, obviously.
But here's the way, we get them on the cup, he is getting so booed. And I mean, at the second, they had a big club. He is getting tormented.
I can't talk about Jake. You can't. A bit of light nipple tweaking maybe, but not.
No, we'll clap on the pitch. Like, great to see you back. Yeah, you're doing really good for yourself. Second he touches it, boo. So when Beckham returned to Man United, got booed second he touched the ball.
We haven't got an Ashford game, so and I don't know when that's going to be rescheduled for. Sadly enough. We were also doing, as you're aware, Robbie, because you're on the committee, we had this big old thing set up for Henry, the young lad that had won our junior flag competition for the supporters club. He was going to come on with either a player or Aggie out into centre field and get a presentation. And unfortunately, all of that's gone tits up because Ashford can't fill their team coach up. So that'll have to be for another time, but it's also his birthday, so I want to give a shout out to Henry, who's 11 today. So that'll be
birthday,
Tuesday.
Henry.
That's Tuesday. He was 11. So anyway, moving on. Chippenham. What's your thoughts? How do you think we're going to get on?
Easy win, 5-0, easy.
Jesus.
We're going all the way. I said to Hugh, I plan my FA Cup final day already. We're going all the way. That's a fact. Cast iron guarantee.
Yeah.
But I'm confident. It should be a good trip either way. I'll say I'm travelling up with George and his other half on the Saturday morning. We're staying Saturday night and going back to Sunday. So it should be good fun. Maybe a tricky game. From what I've seen from the National League South, they're just outside the playoffs at the moment. But they are one of the smaller teams in the National League South, and they did struggle against Paul in the previous round. So they were unlucky not taking extra time. I reckon if we play how we can play, we'll get them difficulties. And I think if we even get a draw and we bring them back to Pilot Field, we will beat them on a replay. But I'm confident enough we can get the job done away from home. We'll bring a fair few as a coach going up. I think we'll make some noise, have a bit of fun, enjoy an FA Cup day. I think for qualifying rounds, only a couple of ways in the first round proper. You never know.
You never know.
But that's looking ahead. The real players we keep their heads on. I planned my trip to Wembley already.
Well, I am in negotiations about going myself. And if I do go, I will be the PA for Kev. Because he hasn't got his PA, yeah. So he's put that offer in for me. And you know, me and Kev, we're like.
Oh, you're thick as thieves, you two.
Me and him, bosom buddies. And
I've seen the news. Wheelchair team, one coach. Oh, they're getting on.
No, love him. So
we all do love Kev, yeah.
Yeah, we love Kev, yeah. But yeah, so I maybe 70%. I need to obviously make serious negotiations.
Oh, maybe quickly mention the draw for the next round trophy is Ashford, if they tip off turning up. And the women's also got Ashford in their competition. So we get
what is all this about? What is we all get? As long as it's not Ashford Middlesex, I can't be doing that.
I used to think, there can't be a worse town than Ashford Town. Ashford Middlesex came on. Hold my beer. All right. So it could be worse. It could be Ashford Middlesex, but we are going to see a lot of Ashford Town, and our recent record against them is not great for the men's team. Yeah.
But now, it's given an extra little firing up point. It's they bottled coming down here. So,
oh yeah, we'll just get some jerry cans from them. Right, hand each player a jerry can.
Yeah, yeah. So we got them the 9th, haven't we?
The FA Trophy game. Yeah, the 9th.
Yeah, we'll be sick of the sight of each other, wouldn't we? Us and Ashford,
we can't get. As a Hastings family, we never get sick of the sight of each other. That's the beauty of this club.
Yeah, no, we'll never get sick of sight of you, Robbie, but, you know.
Sound of me, yes. But...
Well, listen, Robbie, thank you very much for coming on and holding the fort in the round table, seeing as everyone else.
I'm basically a co-host by now.
Exactly. They faltered, you know, this fuel crisis knocked them out, but it didn't knock out the Robster. So, absolute pleasure, sir. And I shall see you next week. I should see you on Saturday, hopefully.
Hopefully, I don't see you Saturday. I'll see you next week on Round Table to discuss our fantastic 10-0 win.
10-0? It was 5-0 a minute ago. Okay.
12-0.
All right. We'll settle.
All right, I'll meet in the middle. We'll beat 7-0.
All right, Rob. So take care, mate. Yeah.
All right. See you, man. Bye.
Bye.
That's it for another week, Hastings fans. Remember, if you want to give any feedback or want to come on the weekly roundtable, please drop me an email on hufcpod@gmail.com or on Twitter, which is @hufcpodcast. All fans are welcome. I openly encourage debate and discussion, but it's also a bit of fun too. We also got a YouTube channel which is packed full to the brim with interviews and old episodes. The Gary Elphick episode will be coming up in the next couple of days on video, and I hope you enjoy it. If you can, like, comment, subscribe. All that's left for me to say is, I've been your host, Chris Laverick. Hope you have a good week, and see you at the game.